The old, rusty, busted fuel tank.
Yeah, look at that. That's just, that solder repair is just spinning in there.
Okay, so we've got an engine controller.
After finishing all the jobs we needed to do on the hard last week, we set Mirrool afloat and sailed her towards the Marina to complete her refit. We brought the boat into the Marina this morning and Troy's been straight to work removing the old fuel tank.
There she is.
There she is.
The old, rusty, busted fuel tank.
So that solder there has just pulled away from that really, really easily. There's a couple of other repairs here that don't look that great. Oh, what's this? Yeah, that's moving around a bit.
Oh.
So I've been concerned about this a little while. Yeah, look at that. That's just, that solder repair is just spinning in there.
Not good. Well,
So,
good that you got it out.
Well, it's good that I got it out. So I've been suspicious of that fuel tank for a little while. I didn't know that this solder bit was spinning because I couldn't see it obviously while it was in situ. I wasn't very happy that this was plumbed straight into the tank with no shut-off valve. You know, so if there had been any sort of fire in the engine space, I couldn't isolate the tank. I couldn't stop the flow of diesel going down into the engine. Likewise, if the engine had started to run away, you know, it's nice to be able to shut the fuel that's going to the engine. I know that that might not help because it might be consuming its own oils, and you know, you have to shut down the air to it. But you know, shutting down that fuel's just another step in the battle. So this hose is starting to stiffen up. There's probably another couple of years in it, but I'm glad to be replacing all the lines anyway. But yeah, that's all bad. So there's no guarantee. Usually when you discover something like this, it's never malicious. All right, people have just maybe taken a bit of a shortcut or something like that. Sometimes it's easy if you can look back and just go, oh gee, someone really hated me, you know, but no, it's never like that. But we can see that this fuel tank, I can't tip it all the way up because while I got most of the fuel out, there's probably a couple of tablespoons just washing around in there. But you can see all of this is a little bit of a testament to someone's sort of ingenuity with a soldering iron, really. This is all pretty crazy. This bit here, which was the filler tank, and I'd sort of stopped using it because I was only using this as a day tank. But this filler, the little spout that filled it, was only engaged to there. So, anyway, I'm glad that this is going. We're putting that fuel tank that I made up. That fuel tank that I made up will not have a filler from the outside well. The only way you get fuel into that day tank is by pumping it up from the underfloor bunker. So I'm going to get rid of, I'm only going to have one point of filling this boat up. And so that's one more hole that's not in the boat.
And you're sitting on that hole, aren't you?
I'm sitting on that hole. There it is. In fact, There's two holes. This silver one and this bronze one. This one that says water, that one's a bit chewed out. So the underfloor tank hasn't been used, I guess, for much of its life. When we went into the Kimberleys, we knew that we'd need quite a bit of range for cruising around. You know, not much wind in the Kimberley, so that sort of led to the wind generator not being that effective because there was no wind. You know, and we didn't get that much solar because, you know, we're in those gorges. I don't know if you've seen the Kimberley videos, but we're in those gorges which are quite high. You know, the sun would sort of peak over the top and then disappear again. Every now and then someone asks, why don't you have an electric engine? That we would not have gone anywhere in the Kimberleys, and we just wouldn't have generated.
We would have been trapped there. Actually, would have had to have been rescued.
Ah, come on! I don't know about that.
Well,
we just wouldn't have been able to go there. is the point.
Yeah, we wouldn't
But
have
our
been able to-
engine was a source of motion, and the alternator also kept our batteries topped up. So we needed a lot of fuel. As it turned out, we used about 160 litres for the 3.5 months we were there.
Yeah, so it's still not that much.
It's not much in the grand scheme of things, but for a little sailing boat. But there you go, that's the old fuel tank out. And the new tank's going to go in. Well, it's in.
Have you slotted it in already?
I've slotted it in just to see how
Let's go have a look.
it is. So, it sounds like it's made of
Yeah,
metal,
it
doesn't
does.
It's stronger. All right, this is it's that Thermalite reinforced with double bias glass and a few coats of epoxy. It's taped on the inside and outside. This thing is, she's tough. So, all right, that looks like it slots in there quite nicely. So I'm going to have to fix it in place. But yeah, it's going to be a different sort of deal. Basically, what I'm going to have is a system of valves and pipes that I can run the fuel from this day tank through a filter, through a pump and back to the day tank. But I can also run the fuel under the floor, up through a filter and back down under the floor, or I can run it through the filter, through the pump and up into the day tank. And if I wanted to, I'll be able to open up all the valves and just dump the fuel straight down also into the underfloor tank. Again, you could say, oh, that's a great fire thing, but by that, if I was thinking about that, the fire would already be sort of going on. So
Yeah.
maybe I can do it, maybe I can't. But I'll be trying to devise a remote shut-off for the fuel. You know, it's just a system of wires where we can like pull it and it'll shut the valve for us and stop the fuel going into the engine space. But we're making progress. This is a much greater step forward than that old tank. And like, it was really tough to get in there and get rid of the securing bolts. And I was just reflecting that it's really hard to teach a man patience, but it's something that you are forced to learn. In fact, I don't know if you can teach it, but you can learn it.
You're looking good.
You mean looking good?
You and your docs. You know who would be proud?
Everyone that's Australian.
Yeah, what's his name from Silver Gull?
Phil.
Phil, he'd be proud of you. He lived in his jocks.
Yeah, it's something to grow old into, isn't it? Just
Yeah.
hanging around in your jocks, irrespective of what other people might
Might think.
suffer from the event. In today's edition of just sitting around the cockpit in your jocks, we've got some aft hatches here. So basically what we've gone and done is, with our new friend Alan here in Townsville, we went and we didn't really show this because it's just really basic stuff. The same material that we made the fuel tank out of, the Thermalite, I just basically cut this out, put on some sides and resined it up. It looks like I've made it out of carbon fibre and it's really go fast and technical, but this will be painted and you won't see all of that later on. And then once these were made, then I made some square coamings that, this one doesn't go with that one does, but anyway, you get the idea. Square coamings that just basically fit into the hatches, and the reason I did that was just because they fit really nicely in there, and I've put a rubber seal in already so they match. In fact, this coaming goes with that hatch beautifully, perfectly. I got them pretty close. Well, Alan and I got them pretty close. So then what I did, I've come back here and we've cut out through here. Now this has all been a modification by a previous owner anyway, so this is just ply that's been glassed over. But we really want to access down in here because there's a valve there that we can close the exhaust, like in a big following sea. If we were sailing, I can just reach down there and close the exhaust off, and then a big wave can't punch water up through the exhaust and into the engine, which is quite a nice feature. And also this is usable space as long as you can access it, because before you would have had to climb up through the quarter berths, and we use that for storage, so it's a mission at the best of times. And then even when you get up here, it's dark. It's generally mouldy because it's not an access area. And also, when when we finally, it's all glassed in and done properly, we'll be able to just unhook these and pop these hatches and have another avenue of airflow in the boat, which is going to be really great. So having just a repository of mould up in the back here, dark, a little bit damp, inaccessible, it's just a bad thing because it's just pumping spores out all the time. So it had to change. Not only that, is I found a grease nipple on the shaft for this tiller. So this tiller normally on a Clansman, the tiller comes out of the floor here. This is a bit open, but this has been modified. But when they extended the tube to make the tiller come here, there's a grease nipple here. So that's just been hidden and neglected for ever and a day. It looks nice and dry. Certainly I didn't know it was there, so I haven't used it. And I've often wondered, oh, how does this stay lubricated? It must be just a gland. But whatever.
I'm just going to go and do a bit of reprovisioning, and I found this really awesome place in North Ward in Townsville that is a wholesale food supplier. So I'm going to go in there. I've actually got a whole lot of containers like this. So I'm going to ask them if I can just fill up straight into these, and then I don't have to grab more plastic bags and all that. So hopefully they're going to let me do that, and we get a whole lot of things. I also noticed that they had coconut milk powder, which is really cool, because I don't want to buy the stuff in the foil packs. So yeah, we love coconut milk powder. We use that instead of tinned coconut milk where we can, because it takes up less space and it's not as heavy. So yeah, this is really exciting. I'm going to go stock up some of our whole foods from the whole food store. So the whole food store wasn't that cheap, but it was really good to get some of those ingredients that are really hard to find, like the maize flour, the corn flour, and that coconut milk powder as well. And that's nice to get some organic coconut milk powder instead of getting the Maggi. I don't know what's in the Maggi coconut powder. I think there's like a whole lot of ingredients in there, which this one's just pure, so should be good, should be yummy. And it was nice to get peanut butter and cocoa nibs and those things that are really hard to find in the supermarket and that are really delicious, that we really love. So I'm happy. And lots of fruit and veg. Homemade pate, homemade beetroot dip, French made cheese,
Sacre bleu.
bush dauphinoise, really yummy. Fresh tomatoes, sprouts, blueberries, grapes, Landperks. There's got to be some Landperks.
Well, let's have a look at that that splice that we did in cans. We went out to the Holmes Reef,
Broadhurst Reef.
Broadhurst Reef.
All of that Zoe Bay shenanigans in Hinchinbrook.
Oh yeah, when those
The tide.
the big tides.
Those big swells at Northeast and Zoe Bay.
Yep, we spent a night sort of going. What was it? It was probably about a metre sea in there. So let's have a look at how our rope fared. Well, if we pull that, if we just loosen this up so we can get a good look at a strand, there we go. We see no chafing at all. Yeah. Looks pretty good. Do you love receiving parcels in the post? Because I do. And this one is from our friends, well, our friend at Arnold's Boat Shop. Now, one of the good things about when you're just sort of staying put is you have like a bit of a community around you, and you get your favourite sort of chandler and you can visit. When you do go sailing around, you lose some of those things. So we've been looking for a boat shop, a chandlery, to supply us as we go along, and we've settled on Arnold's because he's done us a great deal. He's really friendly to deal with and professional. And we spoke directly to Arnold. Okay, this is a small but growing Australian business, so we're really happy to get behind that sort of thing. If you know anything about us, you know we're going to go for that. And we also asked Arnold. We said, if we talk about your shop on our channel, can you do anything for our viewers? And he was happy to say, yeah, we can give you free delivery to anywhere in Australia if you're an Australian viewer. Did you see how smoothly that went? So what we've got here is one of two parcels that we got. It must be admitted, an incredibly good deal from Arnold. I don't think this is a winch, but we're going to be installing a few new things on our boat, and one of them, and it's a long time coming, is a brand new, I'll just stop waving this knife around, is a brand new throttle controller, because our old one is corroding away. It doesn't work very well anymore. It's fairly horrible. Well, there's a part of it. Alright, so what have we got here? Okay, so we've got an engine controller, and this one's side mounted. So we're going to mount this in the cockpit in an unobtrusive way. Now, if we look at our old one, you can see that ropes can get caught around it, get caught up under it, things like this. This controller, when I was speaking with Arnold, he said, I've got what you want. And he said that he was using this in his Klansman, and that's another reason to like Arnold, because he's a Klansman owner. The shape of this it's very, very hard for ropes to get caught around it. And the other throttle control, anything with an abrupt sort of transition there, or a lack of transition, sort of ropes can catch on it. It's been a bit of the bane of my existence, a little bit. Yeah, so we were speaking with Arnold, and we were asking him if he could do something for our subscribers, you guys, and he was happy to extend free delivery to anywhere in Australia. This is for our Australian viewers at the moment. I'm sure he'll send something anywhere in the world at the right price, but in Australia the right price for him to send it to you is nothing. So we're going to give you this code. Yeah, see that one? That code, and if you make an order with Arnold, he's got pretty good prices, and you put that code in, he'll know that you've come from Free Range Sailing, and he'll give you free delivery. It's a pretty good deal. So we're going to get a hold of this, and we're going to go stick it in the side of the boat and see how it all works. A complication that arose when normally you would just get a template and you would cut out the recommended shape that they give you, and then this item, you'd just be able to fit it through there. But what happened is the timber that they used our cockpit is a reconstructed thing. Okay, it's not original as it came out of the factory. Some owner at some point decided they wanted to modify it. So this is all 18mm or 3/4 inch plywood, marine ply. This distance here, from the bottom of this lug to this plate here, which is going to rest on the other side, is of course less than the 1/4 inch that was required. So what I had to do is I went in and I just got my little router, okay, a little laminate trimmer, and just shaved down this timber until it fit. Alright, I just took a little bit of width off until it was the same depth as this, so it fits nice and snug. And what I've also done though is I've gone and got a bit of thickened epoxy, and just using this as a template, I just brought it up nice and snug, and now I'm just marking with the art liner where it doesn't quite fit, so we can see that there's a little bit here that just needs to be nipped out, and a touch in there as well. So that needs to go, and then this will actually that'll actually sink in quite nicely. So I'll sand all this back, and I'll put a layer of fibreglass around that to make it hard. Then we'll fair it and we'll make it smooth. But once this goes in, it will actually be recessed a little bit, and I can put just a touch of Sikaflex around there, and this will be a fairly nice watertight installation. Because this hole that you cut before, I know in the past when I was looking at the last one, I was like, wow, look at the size of the hole that was left around the thing, and it wasn't sealed at all. But you can't really avoid it when you're putting these things in. You know, you sort of have to have that hole for it all to fit. So that fits snugly. Like, that's even without the screws. It's not going anywhere. So that's a pretty good cutout in that shape there. But I really want this to be nice and snug fitting. Fits down the bottom good. It just needs to be.
There'll be no leaking.
I want no more leaks. No more leaks. So that was the old controller. Let's look at the poor old thing. This, you know, this handle is made of, I guess, a zinc alloy. So it's pretty much had it. And when I was actually pulling it out of the boat, it didn't take much to actually snap the handle off. More than just obviously driving the boat. You know, I was giving it a bit of zoot, but there you go. My mighty strength just totally just tore this handle off. So I'm pretty happy that we've gotten rid of that. So we're very grateful for Arnold in his prompt reply of sending up our new controller, because that's just one more improvement that Mirrool's had. To be fair, you know, like, this is a Morse controller, and back in the day they're a great controller, but it's just done its time. This is a great sticker, isn't it? Look at that quality.
And then look at that.
There's a new anchor windlass.
Join us next week as we install our brand new Muir anchor winch into Mirrool's deck. If you enjoyed this week's episode of Free Range Sailing, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, as it really helps get our video out to more viewers. To be notified each time we release a video, you'll need to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button on our channel page. If you're interested in finding out more about the music used or supporting free range sailing through one of our crowdfunding platforms, you will find more information in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.